Thanks to Brand New American, we've checked out the TRM Custom Knives, Neutron. We've checked out the Atom. But of the three knives that he sent, I saved my favorite for last. Now we are going to be checking out the Shadow. Why is this one my favorite? Well, stick around. What's up, Kripple Krew? EDCwithDBD, disabled but deadly, and that's right, this is going to be the third of our TRM reviews. Thanks to Brand New American, who sent his TRM collection into the channel so that I could check them out and share them with you. And though I really like this Neutron, and the Atom is a fantastic knife, the Shadow is by far my favorite of the three. Before I show you why, stab that like button, like you mean it, /subscribe. I love to have you here. You're not going to miss all the dope knife and EDC content coming your way. You can bash that bell if you want notifications so you don't miss anything. If you like what I do here, it only costs a couple bucks a month to join the Kripple Krew Inc. But that's completely up to you. Do me one favor, drop a comment below, let me know what's in your pockets. All right, so one thing between, both of these, obviously, the Atom and the Neutron, I've shown are liner locks, which, fantastic locks. These are nice knives. But one thing that neither of these have been is truly ambidextrous. Now, they do offer left-handed versions of the knives, but their first truly ambidextrous was the Shadow. Truly ambidextrous knife. And what I mean by that is we have dual ambidextrous thumb studs. We are rocking the River Lock, their crossbar lock, which is very easy to operate with either hand. And this time, we are still rocking tip up as the gods intended. Pocket clip that is deep carry and titanium. This time inset with flat screws. And reversible with a filler tab. Titanium filler tab for the other side. So, lefties rejoice. This was a knife made for everybody. Unfortunately, it's a knife that's no longer in production. But before we get into that, this overall length of the Shadow is 7.75 inches with a 3.25 inch or 3.2 inch blade that they call this is not a drop point. You could call this a reverse Tonto and get away with it. I would call this a modified Sheepsfoot. And we have CPM 20 CV, as you see right there, where it proudly says TRM USA. And we have a very nice flat grind coming down to a very slicey edge because we start off with a 90 thousandths blade stock thickness. I love that about the TRM knives. It means that your behind the edge thickness is so thin. We have a 4.5 inch handle length, in this case rocking Concord Great Micarta, which looks fantastic, including a matching backspacer. Looks awesome. And overall weight of this knife is only 4 ounces. And because of the way the ergos of it, it actually feels lighter than that. So people loved the TRM nerd, and they were asking for a bigger nerd. And that's where you get the Shadow here. And unfortunately, this is no longer in production. It has been replaced by the TRM Bulldog, which has the crossbar lock, but a blade shape much more similar to your Neutron and Atom. Now, I prefer this modified Sheepsfoot blade. And this is a knife that I will end up having to find on the secondary at some point to add to the collection because of all, well, not because, but one of the reasons of all the TRM knives, no matter, I mean, they're all mad slicey, but look at this. This blade is so crazy slicey. I can make confetti for days. I can do the Needs Knife S-curve if I want. Whoop. As you can see. And this still has the factory edge on it, unlike the Neutron and the Atom that B&A had put his own edge on. This is still rocking the factory edge, and it's still very sharp. He might have dropped it, but with CPM 20 CV, if you didn't hear in the other videos, it's a nice well-rounded steel that leans heavily towards corrosion resistance and nice edge retention. Better edge retention than MagnaCut, say. However, it's not at nearly as tough. Still a very good steel, and it's the same thing as M390 or Carpenter's 204P. This is just the Crucible Industries CPM version of that steel. So 20 CV belongs to Crucible, and all three of these TRM knives have used it, and I think it's a fantastic steel for the type of edge geometry that they go for, because it's going to keep these thin slicey edges for a long time. The handles on this knife to me is much more ergonomic than the first two I've shown you. It is definitely thicker in the handles. I need to get some calipers so I can measure it. But, I mean, this is closer to, it's still thinner than a lot of crossbar knives, but let's see. I guess it's about the exact same as the Kubi Bluff. So you're getting right about that 1/2 inch width with the clip, which is to me very good in hand. Plus, the way that they did this 50-50 choil, by 50-50 choil, I mean half of this choil is from the blade, half of the choil is from the scales. And then the handle behind it, it fits so comfortably in my hand. We're doing laundry, getting ready to go to Georgia, so apologies for the loud buzzer. This curve here fits into your palm very well, whether you're back here behind the pivot, where I do have a full 4-finger grip because of the size of this handle. Got husky hair floating. But right up here is where this was really made to go to work, and it is definitely big enough to fit your finger in there and not be touching that edge as you put some time into these cuts. And this would be the most comfortable and ergonomic of the three to use for a long time. That tip right there is great for a pinch grip. And because it's lower than the center line of the pivot, it's very easy to get down for utility cuts. But you do still have plenty of, you can get that entire belly down onto a flat surface for cuts. Turning it around to cut straps or something like that, some chest lever grips. Pretty easy. Rocking this one in the Beef Jerky Defender grip. I'm behind that choil and capped off on the butt. I feel very comfortable that I would not slide near that blade on any beef jerky juice. Beef Jerky Defender, once I get that titanium pocket clip in hand, I'm even more locked in. Definitely. Also more, I guess if I was going to choose a folding knife for a beef jerky defense instead of if you didn't have a fixed blade on you, I would prefer something like this River Lock to a liner lock. So this works just like the Axis lock, Hoag's Able lock, any of the crossbars, Kaiser's clutch lock, in that you have 2 Omega springs, one on either side, that control tension on this crossbar that goes across the tang of the blade. When it goes up in there, that crossbar snaps right over the top of the tang of the blade. And then between that and the stop pin in here, we have plenty of contact so that there is zero up and down, no side to side play. That crossbar acts as our stop pin in the closed position, and you can see exactly where it hits. Nowhere near this edge, which, by the way, as you can see, even though it is a tapering plunge grind a little bit, you do have quite a bit of life to sharpen off. With 20 CV, this blade is going to last you for a long time before you'd ever even need to think about adding to that choil. But you could if you ever needed to, because you've got, that's right there is where your crossbar lands in the stop position. Of course, you're perfectly centered. TRM, as you can see, runs very tight tolerances on their knives. They run everything in small batches, so their quality control is very, very high. This one, because of this backspacer, you do have more hardware present than in most. But on the show side, they definitely kept it minimal. I like the pivot. I don't think, the other two knives did not have that. I just looked at them. They didn't have this like seashell-like pivot, which looks really good on there. The studs for the crossbar are nicely knurled and come out far enough that they're very easy to grab. The thumb studs are also very nicely stepped, making them easy for the thumb flick or the reverse flick. You can index finger, like this knife is made for fidgeting. You can turn it around, whip it out. Yeah, awesome fidgety knife with that crossbar lock, but strong and made to work. TRM wants you to use their knives, and they build their knives. Everything is made from USA components. The hardware that they don't make is made to their specifications in the United States. And everything else, like the custom plates, the custom thumb studs, their custom titanium standoffs, all of that is made in-house. So you are absolutely getting 100% USA made knives when you purchase from TRM. This knife definitely was a step up in price versus the Neutron or the Atom with G10. This one run about $3.25. Like I said, unfortunately, it has been discontinued. If you find this on the secondary market, my recommendation is to jump on it. This is one of my favorite crossbar lock knives that I've ever handled. From ergos to sliciness to the lock, I like it when I pull a crossbar back and the blade just goes home. Not all crossbars are tuned the same, for sure. And oftentimes they lack any type of a detent feel. But these springs are nicely tensioned so that you feel like you are throwing against a detent. It is technically still a detent because there is resistance, mechanical resistance, but it feels snappy, like you had a detent ball, is what I should say. Every time it just flies out. And of course, it's very easy to whip out with that river lock. So, I really appreciate B&A sending these knives into the channel for review. I knew that I would like TRM knives. I mean, how can you not like USA made, high quality, very slicey, very easy to customize, these two right here, knives. I didn't realize how much I would fall in love with them. And especially these two. Now, luckily, the Neutron and the Atom are for sale still. The Bulldog is actually for sale. It's just sold out currently. So I will be picking up a Neutron in the future. I absolutely love it. And I really wish they would bring this back into production. But I will be searching the secondary, though I doubt people part with them often. Eventually, I will have a Shadow. Let me know what you think of them. Let me know which one is your favorite. I hope everybody has a killer day. Stay safe, stay frosty. Most importantly, stay deadly. Okay, you take too long. I'm out.